All right, welcome back to the channel. So I am a very big advocate on you keyboard players out there that have sort of discovered the MPC and how kind of cool it actually is, especially these newer machines. In an advocate of this machine, sort of if you put the extra desire into learning the structure of the sampling, I'm an advocate of it because the expansion system, which is like brilliant. You can make your own expansions. And so if you're willing to get your hands a little dirty and sort of grow with the whole process, you really can turn something like this into something that nothing else can do. Not even the Chronos, not even the montage. Now, specifically, I'm saying this within the context of a machine for production, like in the studio. The API software layer supports the sample engine extremely well. The drum pads, and then in this case, MPC keys with the keyboard, makes this a specific machine, kind of like the Nico Labs, but makes this machine very specifically really unique to use. And then you can go out and get a big MPCX and have that full what they call screen control API layer. That's just like second to none, really, when you're using that for production as well, and also for when you're working and sampling. But truly, you can really. This is like the only. So it's like the Autorama where you take the classic cars and you pimp them out. That's what this is, and so therefore, it's much more difficult to do it on the Chronos. I'm sure if you dug deep enough, you could get close. But the Chronos, we'll have to make another video on the Chronos. I still have one here in studio, but the Roland Phantom, the Phantoms 6, 7, and 8, that was too difficult to use. Again, the operating system as well. It just doesn't support the sampling and the cataloging of the samples, not like the way this does. Even the machine doesn't really support making your own expansions like it does with this, and within like the machine sampler and all that. So, and then on top of this, which I'll show in another video, is if you've got a complete control like the Mark II, especially the Mark II, not the Mark III, more so the Mark II, and you're willing to use the MPC in control mode, and a little, if you can get your hands dirty a little bit in terms of working within the complete control software. So that's a VST audio units plugin. You can take your third-party VSTs, your third-party plugins, whether they're effects or hardware instruments, and you can whittle those plugins down where you only have to see you only have to see the sounds that you want to see. And so when you combine what I'm going to show you today along with what I just told you as far as like the VSTs using the MPC software, which is in beta now, so in fairness, it's not complete or finished, so to speak. This ecosystem really, especially for keyboard players in production in studio, is really second to none. I have not found anything yet that can actually top this. So what you're hearing here is a JD800 piano on top of a sound called Fusion Lead. That's also from the JD800, which Jeff Lorber used it. Used it a ton. And these sounds are coming not from the JD800, which I no longer have anymore. They had been sampled, and they are now living inside this wonderful ecosystem that you can build. AKAI gives you the tools to build these expansions. So what I've done, and this was not done overnight. It took me about 2-3 years to really evolve to where I got to now. But this allows me. So let me go into a new project. We'll go into here. We'll just start a new project, just in general. I'm gonna start fresh with the fresh project. So this all started, as I said in a previous video, of me just getting really good drum samples in here. I had bought, I think I paid $120 to get 3 drum packs from the MPC store. Very disappointed. I actually don't even have them anymore. And so eventually I got to the point where I said, let me just learn how to use a sampler and make just an actual generic vanilla kit and make a drum sound, or like an actual drum program. And eventually that led to making more, and then basically cutting my teeth on the art of sampling and programming. And with the background that I had with all the hardware for years and years, it started to become basically an obsession. And eventually it got to the point where I was actually building almost like my own synthesizer using the MPC or the AKAI as a platform. And so by the time that something like this, like the MPC keys came out, like especially the 37, I knew I was onto something really cool. So here's a custom drum kit that I'm. Okay, so this is like a dream come true, because from my old videos, I always had a pad cork pad controller or a machine, or the AKAI, the DP226, I think it was, MPD, excuse me, 226. But I always had a drum pad controller, so now to have this integrated within an actual production tool for me was great. And now with all these kits that I've made, so I would take some drum software, all right, and I would always take that software and I would always tweak it, because the velocities, the way they sampled everything, was not within the way I'm used to responding with, like on the pads, or they always recorded the hi-hats too low. So all that stuff I could modify and then resample, or take the attack from another snare, or stack 2 snares, things that would repetitively take a lot of work to do, and then to recreate that often was not as easy to bring up. So why not sample that one time, you get it to the way you want it, and then every time you load it, for example in here, it comes to the way you want it. So if I take the session kit, this was 2 or 3 different type of articulations of snares, layered toms, and then I resampled everything the way I wanted. So now I have a specific kit for a certain kind of sound. So this 80s atomic rock, this was a monster. I took some samples from one of the SR JV80 cards, and then layered it with some other multi-samples from software. Very cool. And what's really cool about the MPC software itself, what if I wanted to there's a few ways to do this now that you can do 8 layers, but I'm going to show you sort of the cool thing about this. So I've got a drum program here, obviously, as you saw. I'm going to actually load in another slot another drum program. So I'm going to load this fat kit to a new track. So now that I have two drum programs in this session, okay, so if you're new to the MPC ecosystem, within a specified drum program versus a key group, like a regular keyboard instrument in the sample engine, there are two different, essentially, engines that drive keyboard sounds and what's called drum sounds. So a drum sound is basically almost like a single key group, but you get 128 of them, and each key group within a program. So this is a drum program right here. Each key group, think of each pad as a synthesizer in itself. So you have like 128 single instruments in here. So we'll think of it like that. And I was going to say mono, but that's not true about the mono. So think of the architecture of a drum program having 128 separate synthesizers, meaning that each pad can have its own set of parameters, whether it's filters, EQ, ADSRs, volumes, whatever, okay? And so what this allows you to do is, if I go into, let's say, the source program, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into copy from this kit right here. And I'm going to copy, let's say, this snare, for example. And I'm going to copy it over to the first kit, which is super tight. And I'm going to go to bank B. So you get bank A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. That's 8 banks of 16. So I'm going to go to the next open slot, which in here is going to be B1. And here's my destination, the super tight kit. All right. So now if I go back to here, I just stole a sample instrument from one drum kit to another. So if I go to bank B, so here's my super tight. That's that snare. So now what I can do is if I'm in my edit page, I'll just, I'm going to tap the drum sound that I want to trigger on another pad, and I'm going to pick that to B1. B1. So now you hear that layer. It wasn't there before. And you get up to 4 simultaneous play. So let's say I'm gonna use the same example for the kit. So I'm gonna go back to super fat. So I'm gonna use this kick drum. And I'm gonna copy just one pad. I can copy the whole bank, by the way. So maybe I'll show you that. I'll copy the whole bank pad from the fat kit, and I'm gonna take it to bank B of super tight. We're gonna apply it. All right. So let's go back to super tight. If I go to bank B, I've got both kits. And here's this kit. Okay. All right. So hope you caught that, because that's really, really a cool thing. So now what I just had was one kit, plus on bank B I have a whole nother kit on here. So now in this particular program, temporarily, we have a whole new kit. We got this kit, and then this page here, or I mean this second bank, I've got another kit from. All right, very cool. So now, let's say I go into here, and it's really sky's the limit. So I'll go into here, and I'm gonna layer this with bank B. Trigger it. So I've got 2 kicks now. So I'll go to right here. The snare. And I'll go into here and layer this with the snare on bank B03. These kind of things will be very, very difficult to do on a Kronos. I'm just telling you right now. Actually, real close to impossible. First of all, you don't even have the pads on it, but it would be very, very, very difficult on really any of the. All right, so that's really cool. Now, likewise, let's go back, and I'm going to go and load another kit over this. So we're going to start fresh, if you will. So here's a backbeat. It's a whole nother drum kit. Here's that fat kit. I'm going to hit the menu twice so we can look on, or you can hit shift. So you can hit shift and you can choose the same result. And we're looking at what they call track view. And I can also take these 2 kits without making a new kit, which I just kind of showed you the just one aspect of customizing a kit by using sources from different kits. Well, now we're going to have one kit here, and these are just going to be just flat out layered. See how they're both playing at the same time? So here's one kit by itself, and here's the other kit by itself, and here's them layered. Very cool. And like I said, you can, as I said before, you can, so I'm hitting shift, and I'm just changing the tempo real quick. Record that better. Okay, so one of the other things that became an advantage for me is if you look at acoustic guitars. I'll load that to another track. So I was able to take very different articulations that were from different guitars and to make one guitar. Versus if I take the fingers sound, I was able to get a different articulation. So these are slight and subtle, but So like I said, it's like easy to record. All right, so just erase that. All right, and then again, if I want to layer that particular guitar on here, let's see. We'll do the Phantom. I'm gonna load the sitar to a new track. So we're just experimenting at this point right now. So I'm just gonna adjust the volume down just a little bit on the sitar. And if you care, you can hit the mix button, and you can see the volume of the stack. And then you can hit shift, and then when you move this down, it creates a temporary. See that? Like a VCA temporary. So you're constantly staying within the MPC. You're not going outside to get sounds, and you're not MIDIing anything up. And I mean, if that works for you, great. So here's another monster electric piano for digital, and here called the DS80s. And again, this is a multi-sampled instrument that I did. That's got a little bit of the Roland, a lot of the DX7 style sounds, but. Let's see. Here's that sitar. And one of the cool things is, again, customizing your sounds. If I go into, let's go into this folder called Expressive Bass in the Studio Guitar Pack. Let's do King of Thumbs. So what I did is I took the articulations, put them real close over here. Took the, so hear that? But then made it so that I can trigger or untrigger either one of these sounds, whether it's the slides, mutes, just by holding the sustain pedal down. See that? So between holding the sustain pedal down, and not holding it down, So again, by the way, when you use the MPC in control mode and you're staying within the expansions, with the exception of the complete control, which I'll address that in totally in another video. It's a whole nother thing. It does require some scripting and some modifying, but again, I'm just a regular person like everyone else. It's possible to do it, and I'll have to visit that in another video. But when you're using this in control mode and you're using the expansions from within, or if you're using the plugins like the MPC plugins that you can buy, whatever I do in control mode, basically you can do in standalone, whatever I do in standalone mode, you can do in control mode. Your hands never have to touch the mouse. Literally not. See, as you can see, like if I want to dial up a sound, and I'm going to turn the auditions off just for now while I go through this. So there's the sound. And I don't even have to leave this page. Here's the progress of where I am in the bars. So, like if I want to go in, let's load this sound here, this expressive lead. It's kind of like a mono. All right, so I have this set up for volume. The reason why it's set up for volume is so that I can do things like this. So let's go pull up a Stratocaster. So I got the previews turned off right now. So check this out. So I can do swells. That automation right here. So MPC, if you massage it just right, from really most aspects, especially more so, at least for me in the studio, really makes it the most complete workstation that you can have. But again, it's not out of the box. It's totally not true out of the box experience. You have to massage it just right and be able to make the sound. So anyway, until next time, everyone, peace out.